Greetings! How is everyone doing? Well, nobody has come yet, but that's fine because, something I said whenever I do these streams is that, even if, today is not exactly a productive day for a lot of people where, they could watch me or whatever, like, that's fine because I'm gonna upload it on YouTube so people could watch it. But today, I want to do a new type of stream that I've been considering for a while now, but I figured now would be a perfect time to do so. Um, I wanted to do reading streams. I just want to look up stories on the internet, see what I could find and read, and just see what the stories have to offer, give my own judgment, all that kind of stuff. Something to note with these kind of reading streams is that regardless of how I feel about the stories, I don't have any hard feelings towards the people that write them, unless the stories they wrote is utterly reprehensible and says something about their character. But I don't think we're gonna read those kind of stories, are we? Um, but today, I'm going to be reading through one of my favorite bad creepypastas. Get used to creepypastas in this segment because there's quite a handful of really pretty fucking funny creepypastas that I've read when I was obsessed with them in middle and high school. Uh, the story that we're going to be reading today is called Blood Whistle. It is a Super Mario Bros. 3 creepypasta that has gained infamy for its writing and content. Speaking of content, I just noticed something. Oops, hold on. Excessive. Is that even a word? But speaking of content, this is a content warning. This story has a healthy dose of blood and gore, a lot of graphic imagery, and also there are some mentions of, uh, you know, the word above the the screen right now. So if you're sensitive to all that, please walk away because the story is not going to hold back, I would say. Although, personally speaking, I think the story is too poorly written for any of the content to really have any impact, at least to me. But I understand if people are just, sensitive to that kind of stuff. So, without further ado, let's just get started. And I should note that I'm reading this story through the Troll Pasta Wiki. From what I could tell, it's not a fandom wiki, which already makes it the best place to actually read the story. But I should note that the images on this article are broken, so I'll have to I do have an image pulled up when we get to it. Fortunately, there's only two images on this story, because if there's one thing I definitely know about gaming creepypastas is the fact that, for as much as they want to be like Ben Drown, they really can't be bothered to put in the same amount of effort into the visuals as Ben Drown, mainly because of, a lack of time or effort. um, but yeah, let's just play some spooky Nintendo music to get in the mood. There we go. Oh, you weren't supposed to see that? Alright, so let me get a drink. I need to stay hydrated during these reading streams. It takes a lot out of me. Alright, I'm ready. Let's fucking go! So, Blood Whistle. This is the recorded blog of a college student who is playing a modified version of Super Mario Bros. 3 on his computer. Shortly after submitting his last entry, he committed suicide in his dorm room. Damn. Right off the bat, the story has been completely ruined, completely spoiled. I now know how it's gonna end. Oh, the story is not off to a good start already. This is the recorded blog of a college student. Okay. What does that mean, recorded blog? Like, obviously, it's meant to, like, I would think, like, a blog by itself is supposed to be recording, like, your thoughts and stuff. I feel like saying recorded blog seems kind of redundant to me. Um, I don't know. Also, I kind of find it funny how they call it Super Mario Brothers 3 and not Bros period 3. That's, like, the actual proper title there, but at this point, I'm just nitpicking. Also, this image is broken. It's supposed to be an image of, like, the blood whistle itself, like a crude pixel art image of the blood whistle. We're gonna see the blood whistle again shortly after, and I gotta show you the image because the image is glorious. Okay, June 5th, 2012. Man, has it really been like 11 years? A friend of mine recently sent me what he claims to be a scary Super Mario Bros. 3 hack that he wanted me to try out, because he didn't have the courage. I started this blog to record my progress through the game. He got this from a site that's no longer active, and I've seen some pretty scary occurrences with emulator games before. Just look at Ben. Oh! All that aside, however, there's something definitely off about this ROM. Its title was Super Mario Bros. 3 BW. Anyhow, I won't play any today as I'm quite busy with college work and such, and I will definitely start tomorrow. You could just say you're procrastinating. It's okay, dude. Oh, I just realized, the way I've captured, the screen, you're not seeing the text. I apologize for that. I have to keep that in mind. Okay, so the name drop of Ben, like Ben Drown, like that's already like, I don't know about this. Like, this is not really a good. I feel like in these kind of creepypastas, you really shouldn't like talk about these reference other stories as if they're like a real thing, because like a big aspect of creepypastas is that you want the stories to feel kind of like authentic or real, like something where you could read it and think this could plausibly happen. And like we all know that Ben Drown is not real. Like it's very clearly a high effort project from that author, and to reference Ben like this, it already kind of gives you the vibe of this story is not gonna really compare, is it? You know, it is just not great. June 6, 2012. I played some of the game today. Obviously, my friend was misinformed, as I have played all the way through 1 through 3 and have found nothing irregular. All the sprites, levels, and sounds didn't have a fluke to their name. That's a weird way to put it. Wait, a secret! That must be how you have to unlock it! I swear, you guys, I'll find a warp whistle tomorrow and see what creepy secrets this game has to hide. Look for tomorrow's post. It won't disappoint. Maybe this will explain what the BW in the title stands for. Oh shit, I'm excited. Okay, hold on. So I found nothing irregular. Like he played through like the first 3 levels of Super Mario Bros. 3, which like, if you remember, like Super Mario Bros. 3 has very short levels. Like it's not like the content of levels 1 to 3. It's only like what, 5 or 6 minutes. So it seems kind of weird that you make a blog post out of like these 3 levels. Like it's not even of World 1. Like if I were to do this kind of story where I'm playing through like a haunted copy of a Mario game, I would probably like document like the game world to world, you know, because like a world is a collection of levels and you gotta get like a healthy amount of content there, but this is just 3 levels and you get like this measly post right here. And then finally like, wait, a secret? That must be how you have to unlock it. Like, what is this? Like, this is something that I've often seen these kind of stories mess up, where you're making like a blog post, and yet you're writing these blog posts as if they're actually reacting to the content in the moment. Like, When they said that it's a recorded blog, like, are they saying like this person actually recorded himself playing through the game, and it's not him actually like writing it all down? Is it just like a transcript? I mean, in that case, it's like this seems like a very inconvenient format. Like, it would have been nice if you have like actual videos of commentary instead. But we all know that it's not possible because, you know, the game itself doesn't exist. Okay, Riff, you clearly just don't understand the genius writing on display here. You know what? You're right. Like, I'm just at the very beginning of the story. I'm obviously being too judgmental right off the bat. But, you know, you make a great point, Vector. I hope you're doing good, Vector. Yeah, I'm doing my first reading stream. I'm reading through the Blood Whistle creepypasta. Let's just keep going. June 7th, 2012. I wish I hadn't unlocked that secret. Had to be here for it. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I love how this blog post starts. I wish I hadn't unlocked that secret. This game will be the bane of my existence. I'll try as best as I can to explain what happened and what would certainly entail. I don't know if any of you will believe me, but this sick mockery of one of my childhood favorites must be exploited and never be seen by the eyes of any other breathing man on God's green earth. Okay, hold on. Wait, he said it must be exploited, as if like you must really show this game off to people, but also must never be seen by the eyes of any other breathing man on God's green earth. Like, this is contradictory right off the bat. And Todd, what I'll call my friend for the sake of privacy and possibly security, do not send that link to anyone else. You'll see why below. Ooh. Or like, so he just like gives this friend a fake name. This is Todd Howard right here. Rift, you're questioning the genius again. I know. This story is too smart for me. I entered the castle stage. Knowing its only secret was the warp whistle, I disposed of a dry bones before donning a raccoon tail. With a running start, I was flying above the stage until I hit the secret area. My whole life before I hit up on the arrow keypad was completely different. I was happy. I was normal. I could wake up in the morning recognizing my own reflection, being absolute about my safety. Now it's all lies. All lies. I know that as of what happened today, my life will become an infernal hell in which every day will be a futile struggle to retain my own sanity. After finishing this wretched collage of electronic dejection, I will embrace death like a long-lost lover with open arms. Now to get on with what had come to pass. Hello, Andre. How are you doing? So, I'm not going to show the image yet, but let me read this description first, and then I'll show you the image. But I need to comment on this right off the bat. Like, one of the things that makes this story infamous is that it is hopelessly melodramatic. Like, it is excessively melodramatic, and we're gonna get more of that as the stream goes on. I hope you're doing good, Andre. All right. The blocks that lined the wall were a gloomy, albeit polished obsidian black. Mario's skin now had a grayish tint to it, but that wasn't what was wrong with that picture. Andre Rayman 3? The music was a sped-up version of the normal bonus room theme. So like a Nightcore remix? Okay. Toad's skull was cracked open and profusely bleeding, spilling onto the floor and making the room slippery like an ice stage. That's actually kind of funny, like the idea that the blood makes the floor slippery. God. His mouth was also agape and spewing blood onto the floor. The blood had an eerie, reflective quality that should have been graphically impossible for an 8-bit game like Mario 3. I walked up to him to see what it is, and he might say, what he had to offer is this. Blood whistle. Hear its cry. And the image is broken in his site, but I do have the image pulled up. This is what the image looks like. And you know, I think the description is fitting. Like that is definitely like reflective blood right here. His mouth is definitely agape, I think. His brain is exposed. Mario's has gray skin. You know, I think this is a really good approximation of the writing, you know? It's very accurate. Spoilers, when Mario runs across frozen blood later, there's no mention of the liquid of frozen blood having any physics difference. Plot holes much? Damn. Even Andre is questioning this genius. But yeah, this is what the image looks like. Oh yeah, and here's the titular blood whistle itself, which, okay, to be real here, like, what the fuck is this image? Like, look at the inconsistent pixel density throughout this whole image. This blood whistle is clearly, like, inaccurately sized. I mean, the only thing that's actually accurate to the original game is, like, this treasure box, because it actually was just a scaled up 16 by 16 sprite in the original game. But still, like, yeah, this is so retro. I should do, like, I want to do, like, a redraw of this scene. Like, maybe if I could pull it off, maybe. But anyway, back to the story. Let me see. I then ran towards the chest to see its contents. The chest was drenched in reflective, realistic blood of the same type emanated by the orifices and exposed cranium of the poor little mushroom-headed fellow. Pressing onward, I ran through it to discover its dark secret, its twisted surprise. I wasn't prepared for the following events. Oh my god. A blood-soaked warp whistle ominously rose from what I now believe to be the deepest crevice of hell. It blipped twice as the normal whistle would. That, my fellow reader, was my fellow reader was the only normality of what I have played today. It played a deep tune that I can't get out of my head as I write this. The whistle descended, violently striking Mario in the chest. Ugh! He unleashed a blood-curdling scream as it went into his back and out of his chest. This cry wasn't 8-bit at all. It wasn't even cartoon-esque, whatever that means. It was the sound of unfiltered anguish, of utter agony. His expression reflected the same. To end my experience on this perverse version of something I once loved, Mario was transported to the warp zone of the blood whistle. The clump of plain red pixels in that JPEG was so reflective and realistic, yo. Yeah. Man, I wish my blood was that reflective. But yeah. Right off the bat, it's just like, I'm just trying to parse this right now. Like, it's silly. I don't understand this author's choice of depicting the main character like this. And it gets much worse later on, as we'll see later. I call it this because it had only the cookie-cutter outline of the quaint island. The water consisted solely of the same blood aforementioned in my encounter with the whistle. Corpses of Koopas and other enemies of Mario were scattered afloat near the shores. White, menacing eyes glared at me between the waves, surfacing just to cast their evil glance at Mario, or me. I can't be sure at this point. All the worlds were indicated by the respective numbers, and all the dots were crimson. At that point, I noticed yet another abnormality, this time concerning the dot for World 8. Besides it were two patches of fire. Besides it were two 8-bit patches of fire that twisted and contorted in place. I said this before, but one of the biggest problems with these kind of creepypastas that aren't Ben Drown is the fact that there's no images to convey any of this. Like, Nothing about the descriptions right now is actually scary. It's just kind of excessive and going to specific details in ways that don't really benefit the tone of the story. Like, why does it matter if they were 8-bit patches of fire? Like, that means nothing to me. This cued him to move to the World 2 dot, refusing to pay any further attention to the horrors that surely await in the distorted desert. I saved the game and quit. I have played more than enough of my fill for today. But Mario screamed realistically, that's terrifying! Yeah, like what does that even mean either? Like, is he screaming in his Mario voice like, ah! Like, I guess I figured this story becomes all the better if every time Mario's hyper-realistic scream is mentioned, you imagine it just being the sound clip of him falling a large distance in Mario 64. Yeah, or even better, like, in the beta version of Super Mario 64, they use like stock audio, and like there's like this one scream that Mario does. It's the same scream that was used in that whole Daffy Duck I slam my penis at the car door meme, like that kind of scream. I'm just gonna imagine that's the kind of realistic scream that Mario is making in this story. Okay. I guess that I figured out the acronym from the ROM title meant blood whistle, the hard way. Despite the what else would BW stand for? Big woman. Sure. Add that shit to the soundboard. I should, actually. Yeah, I'll do that later. Despite the horrors that plague this abomination, I will continue to subject myself to the suffering for the sake of all of you. You don't have to. Well, also for mine. What does that mean? It'll help me keep track of the days, and maybe this desperate attempt to cling to my stable frame of mind will prove to be in total vain. Aren't you in college? There are... oh my god, I forgot about this part. There are 5,000 people that have followed this blog in the 2 days that it's been up. After this pointedly interesting post, I'm hoping to have some more. For those of you following my posts, read tomorrow's and share with your friends. I need you to expose the stark luriness of the show of something I once knew and loved. I completely forgot that there's this whole thing of like, oh yeah, my blog has been getting like a shitload of followers. Like, I haven't even broke 50 followers on my Twitch account yet, and then this dude has like 5,000 followers just because he's poorly describing a fake video game? Okay. Oh my god. That was June 7th. It's so funny how like tiny June 6th is, because it's just 3 levels, and then you get all this shit. Like, that's great. Oh my god. I need a drink. Perfect timing for Dark Moon music. Well, I did it. I managed to clench the fickle fibers of my perception of reality long enough to play through World 2. What is that description? Like, I managed to clench the fickle fibers of my perception of reality long enough to play through World 2. Like, how the fuck do you even type this? God. I have come to the conclusion that whoever made this is completely and utterly deranged. There's been a rusted gear or a broken spring in the mechanics of their sadistic mind. Their only purpose in creating this mod was to mentally and psychologically flagellate the naive soul poor enough to take the bait of its mysterious origin. Well, I'm certainly naive enough to fall into that category. I digress. To the experience! God. Like, I love how this guy's just playing through this spooky Mario 3 ROM hack, and it's just like, oh yeah, the person who made this is completely, utterly deranged. Like, imagine if this person played one of those, like, really edgy, ROM hacks with a bunch of hate symbols that was really common back in the day. I mean, to be fair, that the people that made those ROM hacks would probably be deranged too. But like this is nothing so far. This reminds me of that meme where it's like, you can't just say per chance. Yeah, like, God. Hold on, I gotta turn on my lights. I'll be back real quick. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, it's just like... I remember reading this somewhere about this story. Well, I'm not gonna touch on this later until things get really gory, but I'll bring it up later. Okay. I find myself asking how I could have missed major things like this yesterday when I saved the game in this world. Thing is, like, this is a long one. Thing is, like, there was a time in the early days of YouTube where Let's Playing an old Nintendo game would automatically net you at least a few thousand views rather than getting immediately buried under the algorithm. That is true, yeah. There was never a point in time where a WordPress post saying, I started playing a Mario 3 ROM hack, nothing's different so far, see you tomorrow, would net you remotely the same. Yeah, like, 5,000 people follow you for this. God. Okay. Oh, nice, Super Paper Mario music. Shoutouts to the person that made this playlist, my Nintendo channel. Let me just put the link in chat. Yeah. But anyway, oh my god. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Blood of the same texture from before was just as splattered across the desert sands as sand itself was. Wait, what? Wait, what? Like, what does that mean? Was just as splattered across the desert sands as sand itself was? So, like, is all the sand bloody? Or, God, solitary eyes watch me from the pyramids. Pentagrams and other satanic symbols were also infrequent in the environment. Wait. The sand was splattered across the desert sands. Okay, hold on, wait. Pentagrams and other satanic symbols were also infrequent in the environment. So there's like no pentagrams or satanic symbols. Okay. Could this Oh, I forgot about this. Could this hack be the work of the Illuminati? Oh my god. Okay. Enough pondering. Okay, sure, moving on. I need to finish this grim tale. Skeletons of Koopas litter the hellscape. You know this is serious when he capitalized skeletons. Oh wait. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm getting my mind is getting fucked right now. It is right, but God, what the fuck? Skeletons of Koopas littered the bleak landscape. There was a distinct disturbance with Mario's appearance though. He looked starved and parched, as one would typically look after a few days in the desert. Mario then moved into the 2-1 block without my command, and the music began to play shortly after. Skeletons of Koopas, aka Dry Bones, the horror! Yeah! Like, would that just be Dry Bones? God. This was a reverse version of the overworld theme. Whispers and other paranormal phenomena could be heard playing in harmony with the music, saying cryptic things. After about a minute, I begin to record the sound. I'll upload it as soon as possible. He won't. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, after about a minute, I begin to record the sound. I'll upload it as soon as possible, but I know I definitely can't do it today. One of the most distinct things I kept hearing was, "Let the whistle guide you," and "The instrument of blood plays the sweetest tune." This creeped me out, needless to say, but this of all things wouldn't prevent me from playing out the remainder of this game. Okay, hold on. This creeped me out, needless to say. Like, it's not like the bloody sand or the satanic symbols, it's just the voice, which I guess to be fair, a voice would be kind of creepy, but it's like, God. I love that this music kicked in during that sentence, yeah. The stage itself was very scary. Wait, the stage itself was very scary, like it wasn't before. The sky was grayish blue, accompanied by an almost white sun. That actually sounds cool. The colors weren't bright or cheery in the slightest. The pyramid blocks were faded and cracked, and the wooden blocks were obviously rotting. Mario's sprite was visibly starving and pleading for thirst. Wait, pleading for thirst? Like, Mario wants to be thirsty. Like, but please, please, make me thirsty! God. The fire creatures fixedly stared at me like a shark stares at a school of fish. Wait, the fire creatures? What? Seeming to know who their next meal was. The neutral expressions of the Koopas have changed into ones of converged disgust and loath. I had obtained a raccoon by now, so I ran along the pipe-looking platform and took off. I flew for a while, which was nice. Mario's face changed as well, being the normal happy smile you usually see throughout the entire game. What? Mario doesn't smile. He doesn't have a mouth in his sprite. What? Or like, is this author just misinterpreting his mustache as a smile, like some people do? These moments were mercilessly ended within the course of a few seconds. The sky flashed a gloomy black before the blood whistle came and impaled the poor plumber yet again. Mario fell, his corpulent figure going limp until he hit the ground with a thump that I swore I could feel. He was miraculously alive, his body twitching in a feeble attempt to rise. A fire creature jumped on Mario, who was now pinned to the ground and screaming in pain. His scream was bitterly realistic. It reeked of such ineffable pain, it hurts me now to describe the sheer degree of torture this character was put through. There he was, burning and seething in pain, and there I sat, completely powerless, forced to watch what I thought was the end of his trials on World 2. I was so wrong. God, this is just... There's just like none of this is really hitting at all. Like it feels like there's so much build-up, and yet it's just all delivered so suddenly and without real tact. It's just so goofy. His corpulent figure, God. The level select came into view. Whistle threw back, Mario was transported to one of the pyramid levels. When the level started, the background was an egregious smoke-filled... black. Bursts of lightning filled, the sky with illumination. Winged demons in flight were visible upon these strikes. Also in the skies glowed stagnantly little pentagrams and 666. Oh shit! Mario was being carried by two of Bowser's sons up one of the game's pyramid structures. However, this particular structure was vastly different than the regular one. The bricks were cracked and faded with age. The edges were jagged with dried blood, caked each block. Oh my god, blood caked with each blood. Nothing but a heavy drumbeat and the sounds of thunder played in the background. The thunder didn't play in unison with lightning as happens in most games. What? There was an eerily realistic pause between the flare of the lightning and the boom of the thunder. Okay, what? What does that mean? Like, I know that like thunder is just a sound that comes out of lightning, but I'm sure there's a lot of games that could do that. It's not hard. As the top of the structure was reached, I saw the worst thing yet. Bowser towered above everyone else, intimidating and terrible. Below stood four of his sons, two of which had carried Mario: Morton, Iggy, Ray, and Von Koopa. Above the entire scene were the words "Blood Whistle" in bright red neon letters. Bowser's face had to have been 10 times more evil than I have ever seen it. His green shell was cracked, and his white spines have been dipped in blood. Blood was fresh on his teeth, also as his serpentine tongue licked them, making clear his intentions on what to do with Mario after he had disposed of him. It was then I came to a dooming realization. Oh, what? Mario can't die. The game won't let him. However many things are thrown at him, in however many ways he is brutally maimed, mortality will not escape him. For a time, that is. He will continue to be sustained by whatever dark force or sick mind that drives the rest of these occurrences to passing until the game's eventual end, in which he will ruefully and painfully perish. Now that it has been said, to continue today's experience. Okay. What? Okay, what? Mario can't die. I mean, sure, I guess. Like, I mean, you die in the games. Like, you fall into a pit, you die. Like, it's just like referencing the fact that like you have lives. the lives are finite, dude. I don't know. Suddenly, Von Goomba, God. Suddenly, Von Koopa. Like, who is Von Koopa again? Like, which one's the Koopaling? Von Koopa. Oh, Ludwig. Right. Why is it just calling him Von Koopa? It's Ludwig. Von Koopa produced a dagger. It gleamed with uncanny realism in the light of the blood whistle sign that I loomed above. After a brief pause, he began to slice Mario's chest open. Mario again breathed that fearful cry, a cry that implied he would die only to endure torture of 10 times the magnitude. Tears streamed down his face as Von removed his heart. Still pumping, he handed it to Bowser, who ate it with a crunching chomp. What is fucking happening? His sons laughed as he did this, blood flowing from Mario's exposed abdomen. With a bark from their twisted father, the sons shamelessly began to regurgitate and tear apart what was open. Like, are they like vomiting into each other's mouths? What the fuck? As they were doing this, Mario slowly turned his head towards me and uttered a single question through tears and blood. Why? I myself asked this very same question. Why would they treat him as an animal? If not less, for their amusement. Why would someone initiate the genesis of such a horrid contraption? A contraption in which life and death have no meaning and are manipulates. A contraption in which concepts such as morals, remorse, and mercy are completely foreign. It makes me shudder to think that there is someone sick enough out there to put a character through this kind of unbearable hell just to sit back and laugh. It makes me absolutely sick to my core. God. Oh, that reminds me of another thing. You're probably wondering as to why I complacently talk about Mario as if he's being a human being. Complacently? Like, as in, like, you could give less of a shit talking about Mario? Okay. Oh, hey, thank you so much for the follow, Coco Rogansu. I apologize if I mispronounced your name, but thank you so much for following. Yeah, right now I am reading through the Blood Whistle creepypasta, one of my favorite bad creepypastas out there. Call me Jen, Harji. Alright, cool. Thank you so much, Jen. I greatly appreciate it. Oh my god. This story is fucking amazing. You're probably wondering as to why I complacently talk about Mario as if he's being a human being. A human who suffers pain, sorrow, depression, starvation, and thirst like the rest of us. A human who's also capable of feeling happiness, remorse, goodwill, and love like anyone else. It's because I am thoroughly convinced that he is. Please, don't stop following this vlog because you think I'm insane. That will come later. God, like... This is such a weird angle. Like, to be honest, like, that would actually be kind of like a decent idea for a creepypasta, where, like, the narrator actually thinks the player character is a real, legitimate, living thing. That could actually be, like, kind of a neat, I don't know, a neat kind of story to tell, but it's just so... God, this story is just so insane. I gotta get a drink. Hold on. Okay. I believe without a shadow of a doubt that inside this game is a character with a complex range of emotions. Someone who feels like you and me. But it's just a word, but it's just a game, right? It's just a contrived mixture of code and data put together to present words and images, correct? Wrong. I know with everything inside of me that Mario has to be alive. I seen him truly happy and truly sad, and at one point I may even see him truly angry. He feels like any other living, breathing human being. God. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know how something so human could rise from something so truly inhuman. A character with a soul seemed completely impossible to me before I played this hack. I now have a goal with this game. To keep this poor creature safe. I suppose I know now the real truth. I'll see you all tomorrow. Same place, same bat time. Oh my god. There's so much that just happened in this entry. It's just like so much satanic imagery, so much excessive gore, so much like weird posturing of like Mario being a real living human being. Like, what the fuck? I have to keep him safe. Keeps playing. Yeah. Like author, like, you don't need to keep playing this game. Like, the followers aren't worth it. Okay. I need another drink. Oh my god. Okay. June 9th, 2012. It's me again. I had a horrible range of nightmares last night that are the direct result of playing this game. Hold on. Okay. Some really weird stuff also went down. Before I get into today's gameplay, I have to go through them with you guys so I have an interactive record of my dreaming habits related to this game. I myself am having a hard time as to how they were so close to home, and what they mean for my seemingly inevitable downfall. What? Hold on. So, we're just gonna go into dream territory? Okay. Okay. Before I tell this, I have to let you in on a piece of relevant information. In the 4th grade, I used to play the recorder. Every kid had to learn some musical skill, and I liked wind instruments because of their method of play, appearance, and sound. Such is the irony of the instrument that has caused me all of this grief. In my dream, I was playing the instrument in a dark room. I was my 4th grade self, just coolly playing Mary Had a Little Lamb. Out of nowhere, I began to cough. I had choked on some blood that had materialized within and around my recorder. It covered it and soon filled it. Blood began to pour in great quantity out of all the recorder's holes. It soon began to float in midair and hover. A few seconds passed, and then it struck me in the chest. It had impaled me, going directly through my heart and every other vital artery one could think of. I woke up, the sheets plastered to my bare chest with sweat. I was completely fine. Okay, I know this is a horror story and all, but the blood is starting to feel excessive. Yeah. I mean, it's called Blood Whistle. It's gonna be excessive. I'm kind of sad there's not enough whistles in this story, though. We need a lot more of that. not a scratch in me. As I sat there in bed, afraid of how I'm sure the game did this. Or maybe it was just me losing my sanity. I mean, with all your talk about Mario being a real human being, maybe you are losing sanity. Whistle that may or may not contain blood. Yeah. I began to hear noise coming from my laptop. It was close, but a faint muffled humming sound was clearly audible. I warily approached my computer, the machine almost looking alive. I then opened it up. It was a picture of an SMB3 Raccoon Mario sprite on a black backdrop. He was chained up by his legs and feet, and the chains reached outside of the screen. The blood whistle sat as the centerpiece of it all through Mario's chest. It would be nice. God, I would love to have an image of that, like the other image we've seen before. The tune of the blood whistle played over and over, a loop that only exacerbated the sound within the walls of my psyche. I tried exiting out of whatever this program might have been, but the window wouldn't close. I eventually had to take out my laptop battery, which didn't sit too well with my OS. Luckily, I didn't lose any files. Now for the gameplay. Oh my god. You should make it your masterpiece. Yeah, I should. Like, honestly, like, something I've been considering is to do, like, a rewrite of these kind of stories if I'm, like, really bored. But I just don't have the time and motivation to do that. I still need... I just realized that now we're so into... now that I realize that we're so close to December now, like, I have yet to start that Grinch and Squidward fanfic that I promised in the server. I need to do that soon. But anyway. I'm not going to share any more context to people who don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry. Where is Squinch Rift? I'll get to it. I'll get to it. Don't worry. The tune of the blood whistle played over and over. Oh wait, I already read that. I was on a weak imitation of the World 3 level map. The water was none other than blood. Oh shit, it's blood! Ravenous fish jumped out of the water, looks of primal hunger on their faces. There was something off about Mario's map representation that I noticed right away. Along with his raccoon tail, the blood whistle was now a permanent fixture through his body. His skin had dulled a little from its prior shade of gray, now more outwardly noticeable. His mustache now had dots of red clung to it as well, without my or Mario's control. Needless to say, I was moved to the first underwater stage. Blood! Scary! God. A cherry red tint absorbed the entire screen. This was to be expected, as the water looked blood-ridden from the outside as well. I swam down the left side of the level to get a fire mushroom. Wait, what? Wait, what? A fire mushroom? Hello? Author? As soon as... What the fuck? As soon as Mario got it and his outfit changed, he got an evil simper on his face. Oh shit. I think the one thing that takes me out of this entire story is that this is ultimately supposed to be a ROM hack of an NES game. Why is there so much minute details? Yeah, it's just like... It's not really scary to say that an 8-bit game has more realistic visuals than possible. Because, first off, like, that's not really scary. Like, I guess the idea here is that, like, it's doing something seemingly impossible. But, like, it's impossible... but not in a scary way. It just takes me out of the story when, like, the 8-bit limitations are not really, you know, taken into consideration. Oh my god. He looked at me and said, "Revenge? Yes?" I confirmed his suspicions, and then we set off for the danger that lurked near. Wait, what was it Mario that said it? Revenge? Yes? The fish cast malevolent gazes at Mario as he swam by, incinerating them. His normal, happy smile returned. So did mine. The annihilation of the carnivorous critters didn't last long before both Mario and I faced a hellish dilemma. I love this kind of pattern where it's like, oh, things are going well, and then it doesn't. There was a large fish with rows of razor-sharp teeth. Below him were two power-up blocks, one black-looking and one purple-looking. I assumed that these were supposed to mean red and blue. What? Well, obviously there was no progress from this point without finding out what these blocks had in store. Mario's expression changed back into its gaunt appearance that he's had for the majority of the game. Knowing that I had no other choice, I dauntingly hit the block that was black in appearance on the left. Oh my fucking god, these fucking descriptions. But we're almost done with this passage. The fish swam around from its position on top of us and began to tear off Mario's limbs. By this time, a group of fish had congregated around the entire scene. Their laughs were deep and short, registered as barks for the 8-bit sound processor. Okay, Mario's unable body wobbled as he bled out, spewing black across the red. When he finally died, the fish began to laugh. After a couple of seconds, Mario's limbs regrew. Wait, what? With the blue block remaining, I hit it to get this over with. What the fuck does that mean? Mario's limbs regrew like he's fucking Deadpool? What? Bubbles stopped coming from Mario's mouth. He cried out for help, but that only made the problem worse. He sucked in tons of water, his hands around his neck. His face began to grow from gray to blue in a matter of moments. He kicked and fought, but he only wore himself down. Getting angry, he began to incinerate random fish that had gathered in the crowd. The fish began to laugh louder. For every fish he killed, 2 more appeared in its place. After a while, he just gave up. I watched as Mario uttered his last gurgle on World 3, the blood whistle stabbing and taking him away. I saved and quit with haste. See you all tomorrow. God. Oh shit, the police are involved. Oh god. But okay, let me check the playlist real quick. It's almost over. I should change music soon. I'll go with the Super Metroid soundtrack when that's done. But okay, holy shit. How much is there to this story? Okay, no, we're actually close. We're actually close. Oh, okay. God, I need water. Okay. Campus. Okay. Oh. Campus police gave me a visit today. Are you desperate for thirst, Rift? Yeah, I'm like the opposite of Mario. I'm not pleading for thirst. Campus police gave me a visit today. Apparently one of you had reported my comments related to suicide and claimed I was insane. As a result, I have eliminated all personal information from this blog. I located the person who reported me and banned him. I also have an IP tracker, so don't any of you try that. Oh shit. Like the story said, like Mario is pleading for thirst. Like Mario wants to be thirsty. Speaking of... Wait, hold on. I also have an IP tracker, so don't try any of that. Speaking of followers, 50,000! I had never expected this page to accumulate this many active viewers. Whatever this popularity or notoriety came from, I am grateful. Now for today's gameplay. After today, I'll be lucky to finish the game. This is fucking horseshit. 50,000 followers? God. Okay. Princess. Oh god, my nose. Okay. Princess Toadstool's letter appeared after the previous screen from World 3 faded out. She was squirming and shifting around. Bowser's hand covered her mouth and nose, but it was easy to see the fear in her eyes. They darted left and right in stark, true fear. Bowser continued to have that sadistic smile on his face as he struggled with her. After about a minute and a half, Peach began to change. Her eyes grew an ominous reed? Don't you mean red? I don't know what that means. As she pushed Bowser's arm away with inhuman strength, she cackled like a loon, blue veins bulging so noticeably that they were clearly visible through her white satin gloves. Bowser then began to cower in timidity. The text on a letter only said this: "Blood whistle! Hear its cry! Peach. This music is perfect. The letter C was abruptly cut off and the World 4 level select map was brought into view. Goombas and Koopas of all sizes appeared, furious and hungry as ever. This addition made sense. This was the giant/tiny world. The shown enemies would be dimensioned as such. The normal green grass was withered and dead. The small patches of water were blood. Mario still was in the fireball fatigues that he donned in World 3. I remember with the fireball mushroom. When compared to the other worlds, the map view for this one was vastly less disturbing. I would go as far as to call this tolerable. Mario moved towards 4-1 into whatever nightmare scenario the stage had to offer. The stage has the usual kinks of any level in this game. The sky was black, which made the white clouds vibrantly contrast. A reversed version of the ground level once again played. The wood, as it had been before, was decaying and wasting away Mario's feet. The pipes were faded and cracked in various places. All of the enemies still possessed the same carnivorous looks of their inner game counterparts. There was, oddly enough, a startling abundance of them. Koopas and Goombas danced around in a ritualistic manner. Mario was visibly petrified as he tried to avoid them. My arrow keys keep them inches away from his life. Amidst the awe of the din... Amidst the awe of the din... What? There hovered a solitary power-up block. It was regular in appearance. Nothing was outwardly off about this, which greatly surprised me, not knowing what horrid item it contained. I bumped it in blind vein that maybe it could help me. You could most likely infer from the intonation I made in the preceding paragraph that I was completely mistaken. At least the author is self-aware, I guess. What appeared next is what I dreaded. That damn whistle. It was sitting there, blood washing over it as it rose from the yellow square. It sat there almost beckoning my name. With the imposing enemies, I knew I had no other choice. I took the weapon from its place, fruitlessly hoping for the best, readily expecting the worst. The on-screen foes ceased all activity. Their faces returned to a neutral bank state? You mean blank? 5 minutes they stood in place like this, not moving a muscle. I jumped around and tried to kill them, but to no avail. It's almost as if they were frozen within the confines of time itself. As if for specifically them, all interstellar and physical continuity came to a careening halt. Then they began to move. After the first couple had did it, I realized what truly was going on. Oh shit. This was a mass suicide. Most of them just jumped in the nearest hole, but others performed incredible feats of acrobatics and medical possibility. Like they were doing flips when they were falling into the hole. Holy shit. Going out with style. One Koopa was bashing his head on a pipe. Another Goomba jumped 6 or 7 times his own height, turned around in the air, and sent blood flying everywhere with a great splat. What the fuck? Soon, all of the enemies were dead. Their remains were spontaneously upchucked from the trench below. A grisly mixture of guts and gore littered the entire remainder of the level. Mario shuffled through the remains, horrified with tears streaming on his face throughout. Random, deep, bassy tones played with nothing else to accompany. Fuck, you got there first! Yeah? I'm ahead of you. Realistic, squishy sounds were emitted every time Mario took a step in the scattered carnage. He continued to cry for the duration of the level. Like, what? I tried to imagine this in my head. So it's just like a sea of dead enemy sprites, like Goombas and Koopas. Mario just rummaging through it with a sad expression. God, that's so funny. The whistle faded into view and followed on Mario a few inches above his head, like a pestilential virus. After he cleared it, of course, the whistle went straight through his chest as Mario was headed to World 5. The game has a habit of putting me where it needs me to be, so I closed the window without saving. Wait, you closed the window without saving? Whoa, what's going on with the soundtrack? Oh, it's a Gygus music playing? Okay, sure. That fits a creepypasta vibe. Witnessing all that death really racked my nerves. Sure, it might be a game, but with the things this game has had to present to me, I'm starting to lose my perception of reality. I'm starting to wonder to myself what is real and what is inside the computer. These two things were quickly fusing into one. The lines, they're blurring. Pretty soon the days will start fading together, and by then I have lost all sense of reality. I hope to see you all tomorrow. I don't know how much longer I could put up with this game. No, it's not a game. I couldn't tell you what this is. Shit. Imagine if this character played Doom Eternal. I think he would go absolutely insane. Alright. June 11th, 2012. Today being D-Day fits, because I'm fighting one hell of a war against this game, and a losing one at that. At least there are no more mishaps with you all so far, which puts me at rest. As of today's gameplay, I fear for my own life. I feel as if something is coming after me, lurking, seeking me out as to make immediate my demise. Never before has anything like this ever happened. Never before has anything electronic made me truly afraid, truly scared. I most likely will get no sleep tonight. Nothing in particular occurred. It's just... You'll find out below. Wait, nothing in particular occurred? Okay, then... I mean, how long is this? There's a lot, so clearly something happens. Okay. I was in the middle of the cloud portion of World 5. The sky theme played, except it was drastically slow and demonic whispers were clearly audible. The whispers were almost the same as the ones I heard back in World 2. Mario was outfitted with a tanuki suit, which naturally suited the environment. There was nothing there except two things, a red dot and a card game. The card game icon looked similar enough to its regular game clone, except the spades roll across a red background instead of a blue one. Now, for whatever reason, I was allowed to choose which path to take. I chose to do the card game, hoping it would serve as some sort of reprieve from all the madness. That was not the right choice. Shit, man. Toad didn't explain the rules of the game like normal. Instead, I was plunged into the rolling slots. Besides the slots was a risky scenario. Toad was on a guillotine? He looked at the camera with timid, teary eyes. He was also vigorously shaking his head. He shook his hands in a futile effort to free himself from this appalling apparatus, but nothing came of it. The entire picture engulfed me so much I didn't even notice the slots. I cautiously pressed them, trying as best as I could to line them up given the stress of the situation. I failed and had to pay the personal price. The blade fell with breathtaking speed. Toad was beheaded right then and there. His head did a couple of spins in the air before landing in a conveniently placed nearby basket. Also going out with style. The initial spins flayed blood across the white room. Blood filled the basket and filled it up. Wait, blood filled the basket and filled it up. Okay. Toad's body spraying blood from the stump where his head used to be. Out of nowhere, the blood whistle came down and struck his torso. The seed faded out and back to the map. I was moved to the only remaining destination in World 5. These guys died with so much sauce. Yeah. Guillotine! God. I love this kind of description, like his head just spinning around, spraying blood. Like, God, it's so stupid. But that's the end of that playlist, so let me play some Super Metroid music. Sure, let's play this. God. Like, why did it spin? Like, that kind of thing of, like, something getting cut off and something just spins in the air. That is a very Mario thing. Like, that is something that would actually be in a Mario game. Except without the blood, obviously. God. Oh, God, my nose. Hold on, I have to take a short break and blow my nose. I'll be back. We're back. I thought you didn't have a nose. Oh, shit. I exposed myself. Damn. Okay. Where were we? Right. Okay. Silent lightning streaked across the licorice black sky. If it was a black sky, that wouldn't be scary, but licorice black? That's horrifying. Gray clouds and Mario were the only consistently visible things. As far as everything goes, silhouettes of winged demons flew and danced in the background. I tried turning into the stone structure that the Tanuki suit is so famous for, but it failed. No music played. Not at all. The demons would be heard whispering of what sounded like a variety of languages. Spanish, German, and Latin were the most prevalent ones. A primal fear of the unknown gripped me as I blindly navigated the level. Oh no, different languages, that's fucking terrifying. Judging by the look on Mario's face, like these kind of details like that and the music and shit, it's just like, it's not scary. It's just superfluous. Judging by the look on Mario's face, it plagued him also. The scariest thing of all, Germans. Oh my god. This stemmed from childhood, which made it all the worse. I not only— wait, what? Judging by the look on Mario's face, it plagued him also. This stemmed from my childhood? What, like the different languages? Which made it all the worse. I not only felt like Mario was in danger, I felt like my livelihood and well-being were in danger. At that moment, one of the demons swooped down. I would say the most accurate way to describe this creature would be a miniature Cthulhu. Okay. That reminds me. I would love to play like the Call of Cthulhu hack for Mario World. The hack is really good. I'm thinking about good Mario horror thing. I'm reading the story, it's not good. Its claws plucked out Mario's eyes, making them profusely bleed. He unleashed an ephemeral yet bone-chilling cry. What kind of sound would Mario make that could be described as ephemeral, or how you ever pronounce that word? God. After the searing pain relented, Mario trudged on. His face was now void of any and all expression. It was because he knew as well that I did that he would be torn apart, brutally and slowly, but it would happen. After a few more seconds, the second demon came. You know, he hasn't really described what these demons actually looked like, has he? Like, he described extensively about like Goombas and Koopas having their heads spinning around, spraying blood everywhere. But here it's just like, oh yeah, they're just demons. Like, I don't know what these demons look like, but there's demons. I like to imagine they're like the demons from like Rayman Legends, maybe. Bow, 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 bow. Anyway, it was identical in appearance to the first. It swooped down with grim black bat wings and it did its portions of damage. After it was said and done, the thing had torn Mario's arms off. Mario stopped dead in his tracks. He sobbed loudly, knowing the worst was yet to come. I felt so sorry for him that the words escaped me. He continued with a morose look. His normal walk slowed to a shuffle. Not a few seconds after that, the final solitary specter came down. He did his work with one big slash. Mario was now without his legs, and his lump of a body sat there. He sadly wept in utter despair. He knew the end was near. He turned to me and choked out this. I'm sorry you had to witness this. Everything. Like Mario's a fucking potato on the ground now, and he's just like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh my god. Those were his last spoken words on World 5 before a gaggle of Hell's minions descended and torn apart what remained of him. His entrails were liberally exposed as they regurgitated in their cruel feast. When the dust cleared, a mere shell of him remained. All you could see of his open stomach were his open spine and back muscles. As I had predicted, the blood whistle came to transport him into whatever hellish situation it contemplated would be worse than the last. Consider it sheer luck if I make another post tomorrow. If I do, it may be my last. Shit. June 12th, 2012. This music is fucking fitting. This is perfect. June 12th, 2012. Okay, for real, how are you seeing all this on Mario 3 sprite? Oh, it's gonna be... if I ever decided to do images for this story, it's gonna be really difficult. God. I'm starting to not to care anymore. I am in the throes of such a severe depression, it's all starting to fade away. Everything. School, friends, family. It's safe to say this game is single-handedly ruining my life. Such sadness has never become me ever before in my life. My grandfather died when I was young, but that didn't close to equate what I'm feeling now. It's a direct result of the level that I played today, which I'll get into right now. This is how I describe Raving Rabbits? Yeah. Like, that's such a good description. My grandfather died when I was young, but this level that I played makes me feel worse than that. Oh my god. This story is amazing. World 6 appeared. Ice was everywhere. This is the one part that correlated to the unaltered version. Nothing else did. The ice was none other than frozen, realistic blood. Crystallized pieces of crimson droplets bordered the ice blocks. Blood filled in the small pockets of water that were... to be honest though, like, a level that's made out of frozen blood would actually be kind of cool in a horror game. I don't know, I don't really see that in video games or anything, so that could work. Of course, there was only a solitary dot on the map. Mario entered it, and then knew that whatever was to pass, it would be tenfold of what had already happened. Pure, sable white was the only thing that constituted of the backdrop. Blocks of blood ice served as the slippery ground. Mario slid along as I controlled him. He appeared happy. Overjoyed might be more accurate. Here he had nothing to deal with. Mario with a happy look on his face as he's sliding across bloody blocks. Great. Just him and the open space. 5 minutes pass, then 10. All the way through, Mario was happy as I let him run around and fly. He had regained a raccoon tail. It seemed like he had all the time in the world. The clock ticked, and all seemed right in the game. Making my way through the level, I found out it had no end. Time, oddly enough, would turn out to be the ultimate enemy. At the 20-minute mark, a tempest began to pick up. A flurry of snow and wind ensnared Mario, and he now began to curl his tail. His teeth chattered, and his body shook. He soon had to sit down. Mario and I soon figured out how the game planned to snuff him out this time, with ice and time. He sat and tried to heat himself. This, needless to say, was a less than feeble attempt, but nothing but the creepy bass beats from World 5 played. Mario's skin soon began to turn a light blue. Nevertheless, he sat still and brooded in the icy cold. It was then that the utmost feeling of sadness had encapsulated me. I couldn't fathom my sympathy. I couldn't even begin to describe how bad I felt at the fact that his death was absolutely inevitable, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. You could stop playing the game. Just simply watch in shock and dejected awe. Frostbite soon took his hands. 10 minutes after that, World 6, Mario was no more. Just a frozen block of a man sitting there in the middle of an infinite winter wilderness. After the sadness came feelings of sheer loneliness. I think it would be really funny if Mario was actually in a frozen block, like in an actual Mario game. Just turn the game off, bozo. Yeah, it's just like, this is such a bad habit that a lot of video game creepypastas do, where it's like, I have to keep playing the game, I have to keep playing the game, and it's just like, no you don't. You don't need to. The 50,000 followers are not worth it. Okay, I felt abandoned and alone. Just like Mario sitting in the middle of that ice field. I felt as if no one would save me from the torture of this game. The blood whistle came down and made a chunk sound as it impaled his chest, taking him to the next level of hell. This is such... So many creepypastas do this, but like, stop having these repetitive events like this. It's like, first it's like, oh, this level has so much blood, and then there's this whole Mario has been impaled in the chest, and it's like, the more you do it, the less scary it is. And it wasn't even scary in the first place. Just stop. It's just like, a lot of these creepypasta horror writers just don't understand like the art of like restraint and tact. But yeah. I closed the emulator window like always and ended his self-subjugated torture. I will bring myself to play this game tomorrow. But mark my words, I'll play the last tomorrow, and then this blog will hopefully live on in my memory, so my tribulation can be seen by the world, by here. Same bat time, same bat place. June 13th, 2012. Well, the worst thing here is clearly that this guy emulated a Nintendo game and made the employees starve. Shit, you're right. Like, they're losing so much money from this. It's so sad. June 13th, 2012. It is ironic indeed that today is June the 13th, the unlucky number, the unlucky day. I suppose today isn't completely horrible. Today is the last day I had to play this wretched game. This horrifyingly absurd remake of what I used to see as a wonderful game will soon be out of my life, along with everything else, with this being the last post. I suppose I can finally be honest about my true intentions ever since I finished World 2. I'm going to take my own life. This game has caused me sorrow on such an ineffable level that there is no other option. Life will never be the same. Mom and Dad, I love you. Michael and Kelsey, you guys be good. Listen to Mom and Dad. They have a lot of valuable lessons to teach you. Lessons I learned but can now never apply again. Now for what you 70s... Oh my god! Now for what you 75,000 followers read this post for the rest of this game. Jesus Christ, it's just... I'm gonna be taking my own life. Also, thank you to my 75,000 followers for reading my blog. God. Hell itself is what the game brought me to. I suppose that this was intention to convey World 8. No, not hell. Worse than hell. Bodies were chained up in the background during a myriad of tortures. The only pain wasn't strictly felt from injuries, though. The coughs, dying wheezes, and vomiting in the background reeked of pestilence and suffering. Fires emblazoned certain people as well. The flames had an actual burning quality to them, not like regular 8-bit fire. Flesh, eyes, and other internal organs and tissue constituted the walls and ground. To be honest, that would be kind of a cool visual in 8-bit, just skin grafted onto the walls. That could go wrong. If the hell I am certainly going to exist, I think it looks something like this. Mario stood before a possessed Princess Toadstool. Her dress was ripped in several places and splattered with blood. Her eyes gleamed red, the flames casting an evilly maniacal allure to her appearance. Bowser and his 6 sons were tied to wooden poles with terrified looks on their faces. Wendy, for some reason, didn't appear anywhere in this game. In one hand, Peach brandished a sizable dagger. I'm guessing Wendy is just not hungry for Mario's guts. In the other, the blood whistle. She walked over to Bowser and looked him in the eyes. Oh, this is rich. Technical limitations slightly hindered the interpretation of what events pass. Really? Now technical limitations hindered interpretations. Now it does that. Okay. But it was easy enough to understand what was going on. Through this gag, Bowser pleaded with her not to harm him. She brought the knife close to him, and he froze up. He was obviously paralyzed with fear. Her mouth got close to his ear. What? What ear? And text rolled along at the bottom of the screen, conveying the text of what played out given the sound limitations. This is what enabled Mario to speak in the past. Shh, she whispered. Bowser's innards spilled onto the floor in a great heap. He let out a monstrous 8-bit roar of pain as this happened. Peach laughed, her red eyes reflecting whatever evil had possessed her. The princess proceeded to eviscerate all 6 of his other sons. Mario did nothing but look on in horror as his mortal enemies were torn apart by a woman he had once loved very much. His face soon contorted into one of loathing. He had come all this way to find out the very girl he wished to save had been taken over by an extraterrestrial evil. An evil that would not only haunt Mario, but me as well. The sort of evil that doesn't go away when you turn off the game. The kind of dark force that follows you to your bedchambers and steals your soul. Princess Toadstool paused for a couple of seconds, then came at Mario with a knife. "Hey there, Mario," she said as she toyed with the knife. "They got a little sharp with me, so I pushed him over the edge." I tried to move Mario, but nothing happened. He stood there, afraid of what she would do. She brutally slashed open his arms, legs, and abdomen. Shortly thereafter, the princess produced some salt from her billowing dress and... Wait, what? Shortly thereafter, the princess produced some salt from her billowing dress and sprinkled it all over him? What? What is this sentence? What does that mean? Like she's sprinkling salt from her dress? What? He screamed again, unmoving. Like, is she pouring salt in Mario's wounds? What is going on? The Princess Peach you used to know is long gone. The power of the blood whistle consumed that girl and made way for me. Speaking of which, she continued as she could produce the blood whistle. Here it is. Hear its cry. You're telling me you don't have a dress with a secret salt pocket? You're right. My mistake. With a mocking kiss on the cheek, she began to play Mario the perverse song of the blood whistle. Its notes rotted away the last reserve of good in me. He was heaved by an invisible force into the flames. He cried out as it consumed him. Peach chuckled the whistle, making it strike him directly in the heart. He continued to wallow in utter anguish as she walked away. As she laughed, he looked into my eyes and bore me this parting message via the text at the bottom of the screen. Do not let your life be as painful as mine was. I do not hold reservations against you as you tried your best to keep me alive. I commend you for that. Goodbye, Bradley, and good luck. The tune of the blood whistle continued to play as the screen panned out of Mario's hell. How he knew of my name as Bradley continued to befuddle me. How could he have such depth, such personality? I don't know whether this is a result of the game being as haunted as it truly is, or the fact that someone could have been captured inside of this ROM. Whatever the reason is, of everything that has come to pass with this abomination, I am glad I'm finally done. I have made all my goodbyes at the beginning of this post. I hope one of you takes the time to save this blog, or at the very least, to show the world the true hell I've been put myself through. I sure hope that the demented creator of the game isn't festering in the same hell I'm headed for. Goodbye, everyone. Aftermath. The blog was the last recorded statement of Bradley before his death. His roommate discovered him 4 hours after he made the last post. Bradley committed suicide using a recorder that he plunged through his trachea. Okay, sure. So that was Blood Whistle. God, what? This story, man. The dreaded sharp recorder. Yeah. Let me reopen the tab, actually. Just to go over the story again. But like, yeah, just this story. It's your typical bad video game creepypasta. Some dude just playing through a spooky video game. There's a lot of blood, a lot of satanic imagery. There's also this unique angle of this author thinking that Mario is a legit human being, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's so... Like, you know, I have to comment on the writing of the story. 10 out of 10, better than Glowbox and the Happy Rainbow. I'll give you that, yeah. I will say that as far as bad creepypastas go, the grammar in this story is actually not bad. Like, it's pretty clean, you know, it's pretty... Not a whole lot of typos or misspellings, if at all. You know, it's a fairly... You know, it's a fairly polished story. But God, the descriptions and the tone of the story is so pretentious. Just the multitude of big words, the overly poetic way of the way he writes these descriptions, but also at times, like, the descriptions are just so undetailed. So I want to comment on this. I don't remember where I found this from. But I read the comments in the story. I think there's a different wiki that had these comments. I'm using the Trollpasta wiki because it's not fandom, which is why you don't see any ads. But I read somewhere that the author of this story, which I'm not gonna say the name of the author just for, you know, out of respect, I guess. But I read somewhere that the author of this story is actually... If I recall correctly, I think the author of this story is a gore fetishist. Like, he actually is just really into gore. And a lot of his stories, it's not just Blood Whistle, he also did other stories. And in a lot of his stories, he would have his main character be absolutely disgusted with blood and gore and stuff. And that was his way of hiding the fact that he is, like, really into gore, which seems kind of funny to me, but also it's like, knowing that now, it honestly explains so much to me why so much of the author's reactions are just, oh my god, so much blood and gore, it's too much. It's hiding something, basically. But yeah, just what a terrible story. And like, it's not even like it's a hilarious story, to be honest. Like, there's some shit that's really funny, but a lot of the story really is just super excessive descriptions. Like, you just look at this and this just looks exhausting to read. But you know, it's just like a unique kind of bad creepypasta that you don't typically see. But yeah, you know, I'm happy to have read this story, and fair warning, it's probably gonna go downhill from here. But yeah, in the future, I would love to read more bad creepypastas. In the past, when I was really into creepypastas, I used to watch a YouTube channel that has a series simply called Bad Creepypastas, and there's some peculiar stories they've read that I want to read because some of them are absolutely preposterous. Like, for example, there's this one story called Thomas. It's not a Thomas the Tank Engine creepypasta, no, it's something else, and I would love to read that on stream at some point. Yeah. like I said, it's not Thomas the Tank Engine. It's something else, and I would love to read that because it's just ludicrous. But yeah. Oop. Let me. Wait. Hold on. Where's the? Okay. Thank you so much for anyone that came over to watch. It was really fun reading this story. Let me see if there's anyone streaming. Nope, nobody's streaming. Okay. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a good day. And you all take care. Bye-bye.